Oh, wait, hang on, guys. That's not a Sage. That's the custom I just finished. Maybe we'll look at that some other time. We're looking at Sages today. The Sage 3, Sage 5, and the Manix 2 Lightweight. Yeah, I know that last one isn't a Sage, but it's going to make sense as we go through it. Alright, so getting into the subject matter, we have a Sage 5. That's the new one with the compression lock, and it's a pretty nice little knife. Then we have the Sage 3 with the bolt lock, which is, in actuation and use, it's somewhat similar to an axis lock or a ball bearing lock. And then, yeah, the oddball, we have a Manix. Now, as we look at them there on the screen, that Manix looks huge compared to the other three. And it is bigger. But I want to get into some things here real quick that might make making some buying decisions easier. First off, price. Street price on the Manix 2 Lightweight with the S110V blade, whenever it's in stock, is about $114, $115. So for S110V in this lightweight model, it is a steal, in my opinion. And then we have the Sage 3. Now this guy runs about $150. And that's getting a little rich. I mean, I know you get the carbon fiber that makes me feel like I need to wear Argyle socks when I carry it, but it's still a little rich for the size knife we get and having S30V. And yeah, I'm not poo-pooing S30V here. I'm just saying comparatively whenever we look at the Manix 2. And then we have the Sage 5 up here. It's about $132, which is kind of riding that higher end too. It's just as much as a paramilitary 2, so it's a bit pricey, but that's kind of par for course for the Sage series. Dave made a comment that he wanted to see the Manix in this Sage 5. Well, that got me to thinking. I had a Sage 3 laying around, and the Manix is one of my favorite cutting tools. This thing is just a fabulous cutting tool. I've used it for, man, I don't know, all kinds of things. Just yesterday I was putting down some flooring, and I was using this to score the flooring. It's kind of a plank type stuff that you got to score and break off whenever you get to the end of your row. And I was using the Manix 2 Lightweight for that. And so I got to thinking, this Sage 3 has been kind of sitting in the case for quite some time. Maybe I better get it out and look. And here's something I want you to see. I'm going to try to hold these as best I can. But I've got them lined up here across the back. That is the size difference between the Sage 3 and the Manix 2 Lightweight. Very, very close. Now, size difference between the Sage 5 and the Manix 2, it's a little bit more. And it's in this dimension and the height dimension. So the Sage honestly is smaller. Whenever I did the measuring on these, this one was 1.77 inches in height. This one was also 1.77 inches in height. Closed length, the Manix 2 is 4.67 and the Sage 3 is 4.3, where the Sage 5 is 4.21. So the Sage 5 is the smallest of the group for sure. But the Manix 2 isn't as big as I thought it was. And that's kind of the point I'm making here. If you are out there and you're trying to make a decision, if you're thinking, well, man, I'd like to have that Manix, but that Sage is smaller. It's a whole bunch smaller. It's not that much smaller. Now, the Sage 5, there it is again, sitting on top of it. Is it smaller? Absolutely. But we're talking height-wise, which is kind of important here. 1.568 and 1.77. So 0.2 of an inch, give or take a little bit, is what you're getting in height. In closed length, you're getting about a 1/2 inch difference. Now, thickness, that's something that's rather important. It's one of the reasons that I carry that lightweight a lot, is because it's nice and thin and goes in the back pocket. So our handle thicknesses are kind of interesting. The Manix 2 lightweight, one here in the middle, is 0.45. The Sage 3 over here is 0.4. And the Sage 5 is 0.44. So they're all right about the same thickness. Now, another difference that we should probably mention right quick is the Manix 2 does have the nice wire clip. It's a thin knife, but it is not a deep carry clip. And there we go, the Sage series, we get that same wire clip and we get the slightly deeper carry. In our Levi's, our Manix 2 rides like that, and that's kind of your outline. It takes up quite a bit of your pocket. Your Sage 3 rides like that, so a little bit less knife sticking out. Your Sage 5 right in there with the Sage 3, but it does make a much smaller print in your pocket. And let's put the Sage 3, the Manix lightweight, and the Sage 5, and the Sage 5 with the Manix lightweight. So the pocket clip may make a difference. Alright, now the last metric I want to talk about is weight. We'll go from the chubby one down to the lightest. The Sage 3 weighs in at about 3.7 ounces, and then the Sage 5 is about 3.1 ounces, and believe it or not, the big boy over here is 2.87 ounces, so it is the lightest of the bunch. We're going to go and we're going to do a little bit of ergonomics. The Manix 2, guys, it is just ergonomic perfection. But the Sage series is right there with it. And it's a Spyderco thing, is what it is. Whenever we look at those three handles, they are very much alike. You know, the Manix being a little bigger does have a little more definition in the finger choils, but whenever you stick your hands in them, the three knives feel very similar. So ergonomically, you're in the ballpark. Now, which one do you choose? Yeah, guys, I don't know. My favorite one to carry is probably the Sage 3, even though I feel like I need Argyle socks to carry it. But if I were just going out to buy these knives, I don't think that I would get the Sage 5. The compression lock is not that appealing to me. It makes the knife kind of a right-hander's knife. I mean, it does work left-handed. I figured out some ways to do it, but it makes it kind of a right-hander's knife in my opinion. The Sage 3, man, that bolt lock is freaking awesome. Works very, very well. But whenever it comes down to it, this Manix 2 lightweight, it's a smidge better in ergonomics. It's got better blade steel. It sticks out of the pocket a little more, but I can deal with that. And it's lighter. And if I'm going to be cutting things all day, it's going to be this guy. You know, close second would be the Sage 3, and bringing up the rear, but not by much, would be the Sage 5. So what it really comes down to, guys, is how much room do you have in your pocket? If you got plenty of room in your pocket, one of these two. If you got less room in your pocket, this one. Ergonomically, they're all going to be great. Pocket clips are a little different as far as ride height, but we looked at that. One thing to note on the Manix is this ball lock is not going to be like an axis lock or the bolt lock, and it's going to take some time to break this thing in to where it works smoothly. But anyhow, guys, make your decision. I think they're all three great knives. My preference is going to be one of these two, and probably this guy. Anyhow, really appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.